doing Vipassana and Anapanasati meditation last year. Right, last year I had tried doing Vipassana and Anapanasati, and there was one comment on my I think Hindi YouTube channel where they asked what is the best, right? Whether Vipassana is better or Anapanasati is better. So there is actually no comparison, right? What I want to just bring out is that there are different traditions and which have different rules, right? So I experienced three different traditions. Okay. And then what was my experience I'm going to share. It will be a small live session. It will be like 10 minutes where I will basically share the tradition wise what I went through, and all these were between like 2020 end and 2021. It was during the time of COVID, right? So the first thing was that in 2021 I started facing a lot of problem, and I wanted to just heal myself. There was this strong desire in me, and I was at that time I was looking into Vipassana, which is actually not Vipassana, it is Vipassana, right, which is the Hindi word for insight, right? So I was looking for Vipassana, and there is this Dr. S.N. Goenka's tradition, Vipassana tradition in India, which is like a 10-day kind of a 10-day session, and I was exploring that. And the problem was that it was COVID time, so I was not able to all the centers were closed, and there was this deep desire in me that I wanted to do Vipassana meditation, and I thought there has to be some way. So that going under the Goenka's tradition, it did not materialize. And in between, what was happening is that I was in touch with I was on the Facebook groups relating to this meditation and everything, and I came across Sean and Wright. Sean and Wright is an American expat based out of Thailand. He actually resonated very much with the Thai tradition of Vipassana, and he then settled there only, right? And he is a Vipassana instructor also, and I also did his interview on my, it's available on my English YouTube channel, right? Great person, right? So he said, okay, I will guide you, I will instruct you for a 10-day Vipassana session, right? So, and I've just made certain points that I don't miss out on anything. So there's some points that I, so now what Sean was practicing in was the tradition of Magasi Shadao, right? Like Magasi Shadao was a teacher who was again in the lineage of the Buddha, right? One of the very, focused lineages which went back to the Buddha, right? So he was he was what he was bringing that tradition, and I think he expired, but that tradition was that his tradition. So every what happens is that all the descendants of the Buddha, all these teachers, first of all, sorry, I just forgot, this is Guru Purnima. So let us, express our gratitude to all our masters, all our teachers who have helped us ascend and who are helping us continuously. We are never alone. We have, our guidance of our masters. So let us be grateful to them, right? Okay. So happy Guru Purnima to all of you. So what I was explaining is that right from descending from the Buddha, like there are, like Buddha has his teachings, but then there were various schools, various traditions that got created, right? And there were like masters who had their own traditions, right? So this tradition belonged to Magasi Shidao, right? He was this tradition. So here what was important to us, that in this tradition the more importance, the more focus was given on the five precepts. That means in the 10 days, so there was again 10 days that they had, and 10 days, if you're doing this Vipassana, they have this in their temple, they used to take the sessions, and he's taking it online for me, right? So, and he did not charge me anything. This is a very pure sacred work, and there was no any such this thing. So the focus is on five precepts. The focus is more on being outcome should be that you are more mindful in your life, right? So that was the main focus that was there in that tradition. So there were certain rules that you will follow, the five precepts: no killing, no stealing, no sleeping on high luxurious beds, or whatever the five precepts were. No sexual conduct, right? Even with your wife, right? So that is also one of the thing, because uh, sexual intercourse then impacts your energy, right? For 10 days you have to, your energy should be really really high, right? So that was also not prohibited. So what I'm trying to bring about is that every tradition has their own rules, right? Then no food after noon. So it's like you can eat something, and which is like the Buddhist monks follow, that after 12 or after 1, that's the like the cutoff. After that you cannot have any food, right? So as you have a really heavy lunch in the afternoon, and in the evening, if there was just something that you had to have, then it can be like a juice, right? It can be like a watermelon juice or something. That is just what you can have. Now in that tradition, how they did vipassana was that so that is a in that tradition there was not too much focus on that body sensations. There was there was how you need to do this is kind of intervals of sitting meditation and walking meditation, right? So you have like 25 minutes of sitting meditation, 20, and then 25 minutes of walking meditation. So if you think that meditation is only the sitting meditation, you are mistaken. Actually walking meditation is, and this is what I observed when I checked about the various traditions of Buddhism. I observed that walking meditation is a very essential part of these traditions, right? So in Buddhism also there are two schools, the two traditions, the Theravada and the Mahayana, right? So this was from the Theravada tradition. So again, sorry for the it's going into technicalities. I don't want to complicate it, but walking meditation is there, right? So it is sitting and walking. Now it starts with like first day you may do 2 hours, and then you do second day you do 3 hours, fourth day you do 4 hours, fifth day 5 hours, and then till up to 9th, 10th day you are like doing 13, 14 hours of meditation, right? So that was, it was slow in building up. It's not that first day itself you do 10 hours of meditation, right? So it was slow, they used to build it up, right? So that was how it used to be. Now how was my experience? See, the thing was that it was a very difficult phase for us. COVID wave was really, really, rampant in India. A lot of people were dying, and it was a very grim sight. I still remember there were ambulances which were going, in our locality. People were actually dying. This was, I think, what, April time. Very, very difficult time. And the second thing is, anyways, it was a very draining time for all of us. And my kids were there, so I was at home. There was no, I was not practicing somewhere alone. So I was persisting. My kids were actually, they were missing me because I'm very close to my kids. It's not that, I'm distant. I love my kids and I'm very close to them. Touchwood. So I persisted and persisted, but over till the 8th day, I was it was just, too much for me and too much for my family. My family supported me and has supported me in everything, my wife, my kids. But at one point I just realized that it's just becoming too much. And then I said, and it was the eighth day, and after that I was not able to make progress. So I said, Sean, I will have to close it at 8th day. I would have liked to complete the 10th day, but it is just not possible for me. So Sean, amazing teacher, he just said that, it's fine if you cannot close, but essential thing is that we bring more mindfulness, right? And I could feel the kind of energy that I used to get generated, like 6, 6, 7 hours of meditation throughout the day I used to do, and the kind of energy that I used to do generate. So Sean beautifully said one thing is that there are various ways to increase the life force energy in us. One is through food. So when we eat food, that is one way. But now what is the problem is that the food that we eat is very polluted. It is does not have the prana in it, and that's why lot of you know if we eat food we excrete a lot, right? I mean, this is basically, a lot of things go in excretion because body doesn't require that many things, right? But here, when you do meditation, when you do these practices, it is a much more refined energy that gets generated. And that is why uh, you, at one point, like first, second, third day, you have this craving for food and all. But after that you don't even have that craving for food, because you are anyways generating a lot of energy. So that's what I always believe, and what I've discovered is that uh, uh, we are spiritual energy generators. We, through our breath and certain practices, breathing practices, we can generate spiritual energy. We don't need to depend on like any external source of spiritual energy. If we learn that, we can generate it at will, and that energy that we generate, we can use it to deal with difficult situations, negative emotions. So all that that energy, that reserve can help us, right? So that was my one, that experience. But overall it was a very, very good experience. My gratitude, and he is also one of my masters, so I will just thank him, uh, Sean, for giving me an insight and opportunity to practice in that tradition. So that matters a lot for me, and that's why after that I did a 1 hour full interview with him on my English channel. It is available, right? So that is the first experience. That is the my home Vipassana experience, right? Now, practicing at home, I will not let me just add it in my lessons, that practicing at home not recommended. Practicing at home I will not recommend, right? It should ideally be in a kind of a center, but I was placed in a situation where it was all centers were closed due to COVID, and I had to do that. I had to do it. My heart just said that I have to do, right? So that is why I did. But even if you're practicing from home, you can practice like in a separate room, and try and ensure that you don't have kids around you, because then you feel bad that they feel disappointed that you are not able to play with them and all those things. So that is first thing, right? Okay. Then what happened was that situations became easier, and there was this I applied for. So in now the Vipassana in India, what they have, the Vipassana which is very popular, is Dr. S.N. Goenka's Vipassana, right? Which is the tradition of Sayagi Yuba Khin, right? Now, again, he is a Buddhist master, and Dr. S.N. Goenka, my gratitude to him, the way he has popularized the whole Vipassana in India, and so many people have benefited, right? You just go and YouTube and on, you just check my Vipassana experience, and you have all these stories of people who have benefited. So gratitude, let's have gratitude to him. So now so in this Vipassana, what the tradition is, that you have to actually apply, and you have to share all your details. They even ask for your medical details and everything, what kind of medicines you are taking, and just to ensure that you are in a fit shape and everything. And then there is an application process, and then you get a confirmation. So in that COVID time, what was happening is that till the last time, till the date of the session, I was not getting the clarity because of the COVID situation. The government was changing guidelines, and they were not sure whether their session will be held. Because again, if you just think that everything is going to be easy, and then again the COVID used to shoot up, and I was not getting any assurance. And at the same time, what was happening to me was that I was having a root canal for my jaw, or for my one of the teeth, and it was a really difficult painful root canal that I did. And the kind of unfortunate thing for me was that that root canal prolonged and prolonged, and by the time that root canal happened, next day of that root canal was my Vipassana course. And I was in a fix that I have waited for this so long, and now I'm in a situation where I just had a root canal, and root canal, and my teeth are very, very sensitive. So I had to go undergo like multiple injections and all. Oh god, I don't want to think about all those things, right? And it was paining, and I had my painkillers. Uh, uh, right. I know it's not the best way to go for a session, but I said, "नहीं मुझे जाना है." I wanted to go, and when I started the session, what happened was that the first 4 days, 3 4 days are Anapanasati meditation, right? Which is plain observing your breath, right? And Vipassana starts later, right? So I was just first day itself, it was, and it is rigorous. It is rigorous, right? It is not easy, right? So I was doing, and what was happening, the sensation that I have of the pain that was there in me, that sensation grew. Because what was happening, that I was becoming aware of a lot of things as I'm doing practicing. All these sensations, I was becoming more and more aware. And I was doing it in Indore, the Vipassana center in Indore, and very good center, very well maintained. Hats off, the way they are running this, free of cost it happens. There are no charges, right? If you, at the end of the session, you can donate anything if you want, but there is no charges. So what happened was, after one day only, my tooth pain really, really shoot up. And then I had to contact the teacher, and they don't easily let you go. They really check with you whether what, and they try to coax you into completing the course, because that is important. They also want your growth. But I said, no, it is becoming very, very difficult. Then please, please, please give me this thing, and I had to just actually pack my bags and run. As soon as I got the confirmation that I can leave, I just ran, because my tooth pain was really really big. And the next thing what I did, and it was a very dejecting and disappointing experience for me. I never thought that I would end my Vipassana. I think second day I came back. Think of that. Second day, it was very kind of a disappointing thing for me, is that that I quit the session, but it was, I couldn't help. And the first thing what I did was I went to the doctor, and before going to the doctor also, I said that tomorrow I have to go to Vipassana. And he said, you have this thing. So when I went to the doctor again, there was some problem in my teeth. 15 days were like hellish. And I just thank that I did not complete my Vipassana, because otherwise it would be helling my tooth pain. With meditation, I had to continuously take medicines so that the pain is restricted. But after 15 days, it started cooling down. So I regret that I could not make it. Now, in that tradition, the thing was that they have a heavy focus on the bodily sensations, right? Now, Vipassana, it's amazing. A lot of people, have got transformation, but there is also another side to Vipassana, that say this 10 days course, which is actually very very grueling. That you don't need this kind of a 10 days kind of a marathon experience to be mindful, right? Now, there are again two views on this. What Dr. SN Goenka says is that, as per what their experience is, that it needs, this is the minimum amount one needs to develop that kind of a quality in us. And the other side to it, which people say, is that it doesn't require that kind of an effort. Uh, and now I'm not taking any sides. I just believe one thing, that whatever tradition we follow, we should respect that tradition, right? So whichever tradition I'm doing, I will just follow what that tradition is saying. Now, in that tradition, what they used to say is that you should keep focus on this part, above the upper lip. You should keep focus on. Now, the problem with me was that I could not focus on this. It was becoming, it is not kind of intuitively I don't resonate with it, focusing on this part. And what resonated with me was focusing on the belly, right? And even in the uh, first tradition, the Magasi Shedao tradition that I practiced the Vipassana, there also they were focusing on the belly, right? So now you will ask me that what is the difference, what is the right thing. See, there is no right thing. There are masters who have laid down certain rules, and we have to just follow those rules, whichever tradition we practice in. So focusing on the belly works very nicely with me. So this, the Indian Vipassana, Dr. SN Goenka's Vipassana, I was not able to resonate because I had to focus there. And then what I understand is that they have a lot of focus from the 450 onwards is on the body scan, right? On the focusing on the bodily sensations. So I have, since I have not experienced that, I just came back on the second day, so I'll not be able to comment on that. Maybe my experience could have been very good and I would have stuck with that tradition. But friends, I just want to say one thing is that uh, do not regret, right? Do not regret, because sometimes some experiences are there which lead you to a better way, right? So then what happened was, after I came back, and in 2021, again, later that time, around June, July, and that time, I came across the rains retreat. I have explained it in my earlier video on why, what I brought me into mindful living and Buddha's teachings. And in that rain retreat, I just got an advertisement on Facebook that there's a rain retreat happening in Plum Village, France, which is like the same retreat that happens that Buddha used to take in the rainy season, right? And then I joined that retreat, and there actually and the thing was, I was very interested in Zen. Zen basically is that you don't need to do anything. Zen is peeling potatoes. So in that tradition, when I started practicing, I was part of the Dharma talks and everything. And you know what basically experience was that they have the focus on the belly. So that was like a very, very big plus point for me. Now in that tradition, they focused more on not these like 10-day sessions of grueling 10-day sessions and all. Their focus was that you bring mindfulness to the smallest of things. Like they have a tea meditation. All these monks sit together and nuns sit together separately, and they drink tea. They hold the tea, like I don't have the cup right now, they hold the tea like this and they drink. That is like their one thing in their life. Then they have the walking meditation is integral in their tradition. Then they have something called a hugging meditation, that you just, when you hug the other person, you just are present. So those things I was very much able to relate, because I just realized that though that is what I need to do, right? That is where I need to integrate mindfulness in my life. And somewhere I just resonated with Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh. I just, I don't know. I don't have my words. Today is Guru Purnima, and no, I just found my guru. Right, that if I want to learn Zen, go deeper in Zen. See, understand one thing: you have to finalize one master. Right, if you want to go deep into anything, just finalize one master, one tradition. Don't kind of do spiritual shopping. Right. So I was not like doing spiritual shopping, but yes, keep experimenting till the time you find something that resonates with you completely to your heart. There is no good tradition or bad tradition. Like the question that someone posed me, because of which I'm making this video, is Vipassana versus Anapanasati. So there is nothing like Vipassana versus Anapanasati. It is not like a T20 match, India versus England, right? It is not like that. There are various traditions, and every tradition has its own rules. So I then what I did was that I took the five mindfulness trainings in that tradition. It is basically a ceremony. It's not a course or something. It is basically a ceremony where you kind of vow to practice the five mindfulness trainings. Now, the five mindfulness trainings in Plum Village are basically the modern representation of the five precepts of the Buddha, right? And they are like modern version of in today's times. So I took that training, and now I'm part of a sangha, which is a Compassionate Ocean Sangha in Australia. So it's a online meetings. Anyone can join, right? So when you join one tradition, you resonate with them. Then what you do is that you go deep into that tradition, go through the talks. So every day, my aim is that I go through the talks of Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh and the other teachers in that tradition, and I try to participate in the sangha meetings. Not always it is possible for me because the timings are very odd. It is like they have it at 8 o'clock Australian time, which is like 3:30 to 4:30 India time. So sometimes because of work, I am not able to participate. But if whatever tradition you join, participate in the sangha of that tradition, it will deepen your practice, right? So for me, when I came across the Plum Village tradition of Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh, that was just that point. I've already shared in my previous videos that I searched for a Zen master. I was not able to find anyone. There were like Zen monasteries in Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh, which I could not go. And when I came here, it was like my search has ended. And touch wood, I'm just practicing in that tradition, learning, growing every day. So my key lessons here is of this entire thing was, number one is that practicing at home I'll not recommend. Either try to practice in a center, because if you're practicing for 10 days, then you need a very quiet and cut off from everything, all activities you need to, because that's one thing. Second thing is SN Goenka's tradition. If you are going, you need to be very very physically and mentally fit to do that. Do not go there if you are facing some health issues, like I was facing this root canal, or if you have depression and all those things, or you think that it will get fixed. No, because the commitment levels are very very strong. So just uh, first recuperate yourself, and then when you are in the right frame of mind, right frame of body, then only you apply. So that is the mistake that I did. So I don't want you people to make the same mistake. But otherwise it's a very good tradition. If you resonate that, then in India though, there are so many centers. Every city you will have one center, and they do it free of cost. And I don't disclose my charities and all, but they're doing such great work that though I dropped out of the second day, but sometimes in 1 month, or I have like whatever small income that I get, like 10% I try. Sometimes 1 month I even donate to the Vridharma, the Buddhist this Vipassana Institute, right? Because they are doing free thing. And even if we are not part of this tradition, at least we can help them. So I also sometimes donate whatever to the limited capacity to the Plum Village tradition. So let's support, all of us to support these uh, institutions that are working selflessly. So that is one thing I would say. Anapansati, dekho, Anapansati, it is practiced in different traditions in different way. Some have like focus on hair, some have focus on the belly. You decide what is the best way you want to practice. Anapansati is basically body breath awareness, and it is coming from the Sutra on the Full Awareness of Breathing, given by the Buddha. In that, if you go and see, then there are 16 exercises, right? So what you and me understand is like a very basic form of like breathing. But if you read that sutra, there are actually 16 exercises, right? So if you go deep, then you can explore those kind of things that is separate. Okay, then Vipassana, I just, first of all, it's not Vipassana, it's Vipassana. More important thing that I want to say is that please understand the meaning of Vipassana. Vipassana, the meaning is insight, right? Understanding, right? Now, it's not that you do the Vipassana meditation under Estin Goenka's tradition, only then you will get insight, right? It is not that you do 4 days of Anapanasati and then next 6 days of Vipassana meditation, then you will get insight. It is like the basic how it operates is what I learned in the Plum Village tradition is that you practice mindfulness. When you practice mindfulness, it brings concentration. Your mind, which is scattered, it concentrates. Sorry if this is becoming too technical or you're not understanding this, please, I'm really apologizing, but this is just a technical subject. There is a flow. Mindfulness brings more concentration, your mind becomes one pointed, and from there you start looking deeply into things, and then you get insight. So what is the flow? I practice mindfulness, I practice my daily meditation, and then I practice I achieve concentration of my mind, and then that concentration allows me to look deeply into things, and that allows me to get insight. So it is not that you do the Vipassana meditation of this particular tradition, then only you get insight because the name is Vipassana. No, it is basically when you are becoming more and more mindful, you are generating that energy in yourself, and that helps you to get insight. So whichever tradition you practice now, the Zen tradition, what of various Zen traditions are there, they all fall into Mahayana Buddhism, right? So don't get boggled into too many things of Mahayana versus Theravada. Ultimately, they all go back to Buddha's teachings. Whatever resonates with you, go and you will get the insight, right? So that is one thing I wanted to clarify. Every tradition has its rules. Experiment which tradition you resonate with, go with that. And if you do just zero in on one tradition, just follow it meticulously. And to do help you do that, you can join a sangha, right? Like in Zen, in Plum Village, they have so many sanghas spread over the world, so you can join whichever way, and there are online also sanghas, right? So this was all what I need to say. I will just check if anyone has any. Hello, Facebook user. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining. I hope this was useful, gave you some perspective on the things. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. Thank you.